we go. All right, so I'm John Solo, John Solo's Beer Brigade, and this is the Talk to the Beer stuff. We've been doing it all freaking week. This is episode 17, I think, this week. So we've been doing a lot of these. Normally we do one a week, so we're knocking it out of the park. And a couple quick show notes here. One, Ari McKay needs no introduction. Everybody knows Ari McKay. She's been in the industry for a while and she's very popular, so we all know Ari. Ari's husband is in the background, who makes a lot of different outfits and such, and I'm going to enjoy talking about this.
Okay.
Also, please stay tuned. At the end of this, we're going to be quickly flipping over to another video with a very, very special guest that's been, she's going to be coming on by popular demand. So, you are the best dressed person at GRL every fucking year. And it's amazing to me. So I know we're going to talk about books and we're going to talk about sex and all that and dicks in it. But you got to tell me, for one, how did this outfit come about? Where did you make it? Did your husband tell me all about it? I want to know.
Oh, no, this is actually something I bought. It kind of revolves around the hat because all good outfits have to ride the right hat. And I saw this at I think this was at Otakon. Yes, I'm an otaku sometimes. Sorry. That's another one of my dirty little secrets. So I saw this at an Otakon and it saw the hat and it's my hat.
I'm leaving this a little closer.
Okay.
Just in your face a little bit, honey.
Okay.
What is Otakon? I don't know this.
So Otakon is a Japanese anime convention in Baltimore, Maryland, or it was in Baltimore for many, many, many years. And they have a fabulous vendor room that has gorgeous things like steampunk witch hats, purple steampunk witch hats, which if
Purple's
anybody who knows me would look at this hat and go, that's Ari's hat, because this is just me in a hat. So,
well, yeah, and you got the purple hair going on, and this is your thing.
Yes.
And I've seen a lot of your outfits now. We've done a couple cons together, and I've seen it, and they're always perfect.
Well, thank you.
Every time.
Thank you.
The first, I didn't meet you, but I produced quite a few of your books quite a few years ago when we were both working through DSP, and we know that story. And but I'm going to say it officially on the air. I'm sorry that those audiobooks did not come out as well as we'd wanted, but we were both, so it is what it is. But I'm on air, recorded now. I'm sorry, dude.
Well, thank you.
I got a chance to work on one of your books later myself, I do believe, and I think that maybe came out a little bit better. But anyways, long story short, I've known of you for a lot of years, but I didn't actually officially meet you until GRL in 2019.
Yes.
And at that point, I can't remember when the whole DSP thing went down, and I've got nothing but good things to say about DSP to this day. I know shit went down, but I still have friends there, and it is what it is. Do you do the jump now? Are you doing indie publishing yourself? Are you working with another pub? Are you still with DSP? What's going on?
Our audiobooks are still with DSP, and our foreign translations are still with DSP because they own the rights to those until, I don't know, I think I signed in blood or something. I know I didn't give them my firstborn child, but it was something close to that.
It's an option.
Yes. If they wanted my firstborn child, well, no, I'll keep her. She's cool.
But the second one.
Yeah, no, I'll keep the second one, actually. He's
that firstborn
dog sitting.
thing's so Jewish.
But, yeah, we did get all of our published books back. Unfortunately, everything that happened with DSP was the third publisher that went for us. I know others who have lost about 6 publishers. And so we have decided to go completely indie now because it's just too much work and too much loss of money to keep going with the publishers. So, and that's no knock on any publisher. I know there are some great ones out there. It's just, after 3 times, it's just gotten to be a little much.
Well, and this industry and the crowd that watches these things, all of us are kind of the insiders kind of group. So there's a lot of authors that watch this. There's some pubs that watch this, and there's a lot of
backwards.
We call them the super fans, or the people they know what goes on in the industry.
Right.
So this is nothing new. They've heard this topic come up a lot. It's for one, DSP was like the only thing out there it seemed for a while. They were the king of MM romance.
Oh, exactly. They were. That was the name.
Yeah, and it's hard to run that sort of thing too.
Yes.
So while I understand mistakes obviously were made, but it's a hard fucking thing to pull off. And when they came through, there was a time where you didn't get your start with DSP, right?
We kind of simultaneously got our start with DSP and Torqueray.
Okay.
We were DSP wasn't interested as much in fantasy. The very first novel that McKay, we now have our split brand. Rachel Langella is where we publish our paranormal fantasies, and our Ari McKay is now the brand name for our contemporary and historical.
Did I totally mispronounce your name and I said Ari instead of Ari?
Ari.
I'm sorry, dude. No, I'm a good host.
It's all short for Orion Rod.
Orion Rod?
Yes, which is a Celtic name.
It sounds like a dick thing. But you said Rod. I go for the low-hanging fruit.
I try not to be a dick, okay? I try.
Well, you can be into dicks. Just try not to be a dick. That's
So we were publishing, we started with our fantasy stuff with Torqueray because they were more interested in the fantasy stuff, and DSP was looking more for the lighter contemporary kind of stuff. So we were split from the beginning for publishers. So we were kind of, almost all of our contemporary stuff was going over to DSP, and our fantasy was going to Torqueray.
That's interesting.
But it was all under the same name.
Okay.
So, yeah, then Torqueray went, of course, out of business, unfortunately. And DSP took a bunch of our pubs that had been at Torqueray before then, losing DSP, and now everything's back to us, and we have actually a lot of stuff out of print right now.
Yeah, and it's got to be a nightmare getting all the rights back and all that, and that's a full-time job.
The covers and of course, the rights to translations and
and audio
books
and everything else
like that. Yes.
Well, getting started as a writer in this industry, and what some would feel is a subgenre anyway. So you have romance and you have romance, and so you're kind of narrowing down a market to begin with. But the fact that there was any publishers out there that were willing to not only take somebody on, I've seen this with so many authors, they would take somebody new on and they would give them a hell of a chance and really pay a decent amount of money for it.
Oh, the community is so fantastic for indie, well, not just indie, but of course the small publishers.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I have friends who are in mainstream media, and getting started there is a nightmare.
It sucks.
If you don't have an agent, if you don't have contacts and things like that, if you're just sending into their slush pile, you will never, ever, ever, ever get published. And I mean, you've heard that for years from Stephen King and other people like that. And I am just losing my hat. Sorry.
It's fun to watch.
I think I put the stuff to make it stand up, and now it's like the weight of it's just like going back.
That happens to me all the time. It's like it's too heavy, and it totally doesn't happen to me.
Well, yes, and I can't take it off because it's hiding my pointy head. So I don't want you to see it. I've really got a pointy head under here.
She really is a witch.
Yes. Oh, I am. You have no idea.
Husband in the background just said she is. It's fantastic. What you're saying is absolutely correct. Getting published in any other genre, it seems like, and we had these privileges and enjoy these privileges. I did too. Trust me, as an audiobook narrator and running a production company, I enjoyed it was wonderful. Coming out of it on the other side and going into indie publishing, I've watched so many people over the course of the last 12 months, 18 months, because a lot of them reach out to me and they're like, I did get my audio rights back, but they need to have new credits and they need to be remastered. Now they're not matching the specs that our distributor is giving help. And I've helped with as many people as I can. So many people are now having to traverse this kind of scary open waters territory of self-pub. How intimidating was that? Did you hire anybody to help you? Did you?
No, I'm very fortunate in that my writing partner, Rachel, is a university professor who has a master's in creative writing.
That seems like she should know.
So well, it makes it very good for us, having contacts about editing and things like that. So we weren't as frightened as I think a lot of people are. And I do have friends who have they got the rights back to their books, and their books are now just sitting because they just are kind of lost. But I didn't have any fear on that regard from the technical aspect.
Cool.
From getting them back out. Now, it takes a long time and it costs a lot of money. I mean, book covers are not cheap. Audiobooks, of course, are not cheap.
Yeah.
So the process is very slow for, here you are, you have your rights back, and yes, you have your text, but text is, a story is so much more than just the text.
Yeah, it's not ready for market.
No. And marketing is probably the hardest one because writers want to write. It's like, we don't want to go out and try to learn Facebook ads or learn, Amazon ads, which are like a whole thing, right? They have courses on how to write Amazon ads. And it's like, so I probably don't do as much advertising as we should. I tend to count on events like GRL where it's like, which is more fun, really. Yeah. It's like, I can either pay Amazon for ads or I can go meet people. It's like, I'd rather put the money into meeting people who read the books than, okay, here, Amazon, have some percentage of my blood from now and forever to try to maybe put myself on this algorithm of theirs to maybe put my book in front of somebody that may convert to a sale. Whereas I think I have a much better chance selling books, doing things, well, like this, honestly. Hey, buy my books. Yeah. Than, doing just the kind of, do you trust Jeff Bezos to sell your books, or do you trust yourself to sell your books? And I would much rather trust myself to sell my books.
Sure.
It may be fewer sales, but you know what? I'm okay with that.
Well, and you've in the conventions that I've seen, I mean, you're a staple of this. You're a staple of GRL. Everybody loves you, and obviously, and everybody knows you because you've developed. It's kind of like my thing I did with the beard, but you do it like on steroids. So, I mean, I have this little silhouette logo, and people know me because of the beard, even though the beard is trimmed substantially down because I fucked up. But that's a whole other story. But people know you from afar because you have the gorgeous outfits, and everybody knows. And in fact, when I met you for the first time face to face, we immediately got to talking because I'm a Ren Fair geek. My wife and I got married at Ren Fair, and suddenly, a couple weeks after the convention, we're trading pictures, wedding pictures back and forth, which, by the way, your wedding pictures are fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
They're awesome. You've done a great job of it's trademark isn't the right word, but you have an image.
So I'm very, very much an introvert, and stepping outside of...
You're dressed as a witch in the... Okay, I'll go with that.
Well, no, okay. So one of the things that my husband and I did for many years was theater. We did community theater. And so, and the reason we did it was because it took us out of our comfort zone to do public speaking. In fact, that's the main reason that we got involved, is my husband had a position where he was having to do a lot of public speaking. And it's like, well, let's just dive right in with both feet, jump into the fire, and let's do theater. And I found, I've always loved wearing costumes since I was a child. I mean, that's easy. But being able to step out of the role of me, who is a geeky engineer girl who would much rather just be in front of a computer than honestly out schmoozing and talking to people. In fact, I still to this day at the Ren Fair can't put on the fake English accent, and I can't. I feel silly. I really feel silly. But I'll wear the clothes.
What's funny is I can, obviously, and I do, but I don't. At the Ren Fair, I don't do any fucking thing like that. I don't
really.
It feels too much like work. I'm just me.
It doesn't feel like work to me. Oh, I'm going to kill this hat. But it does feel. I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me. I'm not comfortable with it. But I've always said that when I come to a place like GRL, I mean, everybody knows Ari McKay is not my real name, right? That's fine. Oh, yeah. Like any of us really, there are some who use their real names, but
sure.
For me, when I come to a con, I put on the costume and I become Ari, which means I'm comfortable talking to people. So it's almost like I put on this, I hesitate to say a role because that seems a little too fake. You know what I mean? It's me. It's just a different me, and I'm a little more comfortable to have my costume on, because when I have my costume on, then I'm the writer. And I don't know, Is that weird? It's a
no,
coping mechanism?
It's perfect. Somebody had asked me earlier, who are you having on? It's Ari McKay. I said, I probably mispronounced it, but anyways, and I'm explaining it. Oh, the lady dressed up like a witch. Yeah. Why is she dressed up like a witch? I was like, that's her. Like, is this her? That's what she does, man. She'll be dressed up like something different tomorrow. This is the way it works. Are you doing this costume tonight for the party? Is this the whole garb for the day?
Yes.
Cool.
Well, yeah. And I don't know. Did you notice when we had the 70s dance party? Oh, yeah, you saw me. I witnessed 1470s.
Yeah.
They didn't say which 70s. Okay. I have more 1470s costumes than I do 1970s.
Very period accurate.
Oh, yeah. It was 1470s Italy.
Oh, God, I love you. I enjoy you so much. I really do. But the fact that you have figured out a way to get around you can become an extrovert by putting on your superhero outfit. It's
Basically.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps. It does. I think if I were, just in like jeans and a t-shirt, I wouldn't have agreed to come and do this. It would
Sure.
be like, yeah, nobody wants to hear me. Nobody wants to talk to me.
I don't think that's true, but I absolutely love this, and it's brilliant. And you've brilliantly turned it into a something that will sell books. I mean, people now know who you are. Absolutely. I mean, the books have to be good, but you got that going for you. You know,
You never said that. Good. Oh,
this automatically makes it so people can see you from across the room and find your table. You did the signing thing, right?
Yes.
You had a line. I remember because I came up to.
Well, that was partially for the charm bracelet. Because
Misky fucking Harris and those charm bracelets. That is brilliant.
Well, she licensed it from me.
Really?
I did the original one in 2019.
She had mentioned that it is a brilliant fucking concept. And I am going to be. It's late in the day. I don't fucking care at this point. I was a little bit like. Annoyed isn't the right way to put this, okay? But I'm not very good with instructions. I'm not very good with people telling me I need to.
Really?
Yeah. So she tells me I got to go around with this. I got to be in this thing and hand out these. But then I go in and I'm not very good with the large crowds. And so I post up outside of it. And then I left early because I didn't know I was supposed to stay the whole time because I don't have a table. And so I fucked it up is what I'm getting down to.
You did, because we now have something called the John Solo rule.
Yeah.
It's now added. Okay, so in 2019 we had to adopt the Andrew Gray rule. Okay, I love Andrew. Andrew's actually somebody, he lives very close to me, and I've known Andrew for many, well, everybody's known Andrew for many years.
Yeah, you can't forget that.
Yes, but Andrew was giving out charms to people who didn't have bracelets.
Right.
So the Andrew Gray rule is you don't get a charm unless you have a bracelet. And so now the John Solo rule is anybody participating can't leave the room. Okay. Oh boy, did I get an earful from Misky about that.
Yeah. So
it's like, not my fault. He's your problem. It's yours, not mine.
So if anybody needs a John Solo charm, Ari has them. It's wonderful.
Actually, no, I do not. No, Misky probably has them. I don't have them.
The bracelet thing is freaking brilliant. Okay, it's a brilliant, and she had mentioned, but I'm not very good with stuff, and I forgot that you had started this thing. But it's brilliant because not only does it get people to come to your table, which is awesome, it gets people to go to every table to really circulate around. It's brilliant.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
it was just a weird idea I had. My swag tends to be things that I've handmade. So I handmade these bookmarks that have little charms and little beads and all these things coming off of it. And as I was sitting there prior to the 2019 GRL making my swag, I'm like, these would make a really cool bracelet. Gee, maybe I should contact some of my friends and see if they want to do a bracelet. And that's literally how it started. I just contacted 11 of my author friends and said, do you want to do a charm bracelet? And they're like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of cool. And that's how it all started.
You said like 20 minutes ago you weren't very into the marketing thing, and yet you come up with these brilliant ideas like wearing cool ass outfits that people can see from 100 yards and these bracelets to get people around every table. And I'd say you're doing pretty well is my point.
Yeah, but it's all stuff that's you have to see me, or you have to it's not stuff that translates into Amazon sales.
Well, okay.
You know what I mean? It's stuff where I'm much more personal, one-on-one kind of person. So it's stuff that would translate well at GRL. At least I hope everybody who collected a bracelet had a good time, because I know that as an introvert, having an excuse to go talk to an author and not just,
Yeah.
I am a fan.
It's brilliant. It's wonderful. I would think that coming on a podcast like this and the things who forgot their children?
Okay, I was going to say there's hellspawn in the hall. But
Kill them all. I would think that coming on a podcast like this and doing what you're doing right now is also going to benefit your sales. And we do have some people in our crowd. And on top of that, you write good shit. So all we got to do is put people in crowd in contact with good shit. And that's called a sale. So I think maybe we can help. So
if not, we'll catch one of the children and sacrifice them by the dark of the moon.
Calm
Does
down.
anybody want to go catch one? Okay. We got to volunteer to go catch one. I left my ritual knives in the other room, but
we somehow jumped to children's sack, which I'm down for. That's fine. That's a good deal.
oh, there have been some children I've wanted to sacrifice, trust me.
I'm not-
including some of my own.
I joked that I didn't like mine until he was 20, but it's not really joking. What are you writing right now? What are you working on?
Right now, we're kind of in a little bit of a hiatus. We just completed, back in April, actually, it was our last publication. We did part of the Magic Emporium with Megan Maslow. We have a book called Stop Dragging My Heart Around. And yes, it's as punny as it sounds. Oh, no. A dragon, Dragon,
Yeah,
my heart
it's
around.
perfect.
And it is about a dragon shifter. So that's we're working in that. It's in a series for that we have called Asheville Arcana, which is about a paranormal community in Asheville, North Carolina, and that's probably where our next book is going to be set as well.
Okay,
in that. So
good. Are you currently working on it, or are you just kind of? You said you're on hiatus right now.
We had started it, but with Rachel being a university instructor and the new semester having started up, we generally kind of work in spurts around school holidays because when she gets into grade hell, it's like we don't write while she's grading because that's just way too much work. So
I gotcha. Cool.
So we tend to go around the university calendar to do our books.
I gotcha. Cool.
So.
To wrap up here, one, thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being you. You're one of the people that I've really looked forward to seeing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and you're one of the. I said it before, but it's my fucking show, so you don't have to listen if you don't want. But I like the audiobook. So I got to tell the story real quick. So when we were doing a lot of these DSP books, Falcon Sound Company, we didn't get a lot of options in casting. I had a certain stable of actors that worked for me, and I kind of had to drop them into some books real quick and we had a job to do and a deadline to hit and that sort of thing. And unfortunately, Ari's kind of, I think one or two of them just did not come out that well as a result.
Well, it was funny because what was Striking Sparks was the book, the particular book in question. And I was listening to it because we were supposed to listen to it and kind of give a sort of approval.
Right.
Though we didn't get any refusal rights. We just had, here, this is that. And I listened to it and I was cringing and I honestly thought that it was like, I just can't stand to listen to my own stories. Because some people are like that. You just can't stand to listen to your own words being read.
Yep.
And I honestly thought it was that. And then it was like, no, it's the person reading it. I really can't stand
it
this
was really
person.
just the narrator on that particular, just did not
that particular
match.
book. No, he didn't match.
At all.
But it kind of traumatized me.
Yeah.
So John Solo traumatized me. I can say this honestly but it wasn't you reading it. Because I listened to the one of mine that you read and I was fine. I was fine. It was great. But that first one is like, I just can't stand to listen to my words being read. This is terrible.
This happens a lot in my profession. For one, at the time, I ran a production company, so I'm in charge of 8 or 10 or a dozen actors. I got working for me. But now as an audiobook narrator as well, there are some books I'm not right for. They're just that fucking simple. And I can be a good actor, but take a look at this book and like I had Victoria Sue on earlier, and she was talking about. What's the name of those romance books that they write from England with there's a prince and a duke and that sort of thing, and
Regencies, yes.
I'm not right for that. I'm just not. Give me a cowboy book all day long. I'll rock it. Not right for Regency romance.
Okay, I'll remember that for when we get Heart of Stone going.
Yeah. It's just some are not a good match, and in that particular match, it just didn't fucking work. It just sucked as a result. So I had an option then. I see you from across the room. I know who you are now, and I'm like, I could avoid her. Or I could go say I'm sorry and explain what happened. And I'm glad I did, because now I consider you my friend. And I did get a chance to explain what happened and,
Right.
basically how it should go better going forward.
Right. Which actually I had no idea about, because I just figured that Dream Spinner picked them, and it's like, well, this kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
I never, it's like, unless he had told me, I never would have known.
Yeah. I ran into, this has happened to me a couple times now. Patty Logan and I had not a similar experience, but an experience where somebody was miscast. This is how now I'm doing a lot of work with Patty Logan, and I consider her a very close friend.
That's cool.
It's because I approached her and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I fucked up years ago." But the same
So
deal.
now we know the truth. He just goes around going to every author.
I'm sorry, I fucked up. That was,
and now it's like, now you'll be my friend, and you'll
GRL 2019. You wouldn't believe how many times it fucking happened. Looking around the room like, oh shit. But luckily,
so you showed your face anyway.
Luckily, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I spent over a decade in a blackout, so this is not a new experience for me. But thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to tell the backstory as well, and thank you for just being you and dressing like that, because it's fucking marvelous. Don't ever stop being you. Yep. Now what we do is we wave at the camera, we say bye to the crowd. How do you feel about big cock? No.